Hello Internet! Today we are going to review what's new in 2.0 and there are quite exciting new features. So the first one will be a totally revamped color system in 2.0 that will be totally integrated inside the Bricks Builder. And the second one is the version 2 of the class manager, and a couple of new additions as well. So let's jump in and start saying this is a big change. 2.0 is getting rid of the custom post type colors. So all the code has been revamped to make it happen. And since it's a big change, it potentially can break your website. And for now, I'm releasing this public beta release. So please don't update it on a production website right now, because we already tested it in a private group with 20-ish people, and we didn't experience any issue. But you really want to wait until this release is out of beta before uploading the new 2.0 on production. So please install it on non-production website. That said, let's start and see what's new. So let's start with the new color manager. So I just created a 1.3 website, and I created a color palette with the custom post type, so primary, secondary, and I created a sample page here, really basic stuff, right? We are going now to go inside the plugins, and we will deactivate the 1.3 and activate 2.0. Okay, nothing break. And the first thing you will see is there is no more a color menu inside the admin bar, and neither in the bricks submenu. The custom post type colors is completely gone. So since we used to rely on this custom post type to create the variables, the color variables, we have to go in the theme settings and go in the global settings, and you will see in this voice a new global colors item. You absolutely need to enable this item in order to recalculate the color variables. If you don't enable this option, your front end might be broken. So this is really important. Let's just save, and we will go inside the sample page. I already saved it, so I'm going to reload it. And normally we will have a new icon here on the top bar, on the right top bar, called Color Manager. Let's click on it. Okay. We have now the old colors, so primary, secondary, and the shades have been converted inside bricks. So they are not loaded from the custom post type because it doesn't exist anymore, but they have been converted inside the bricks color palette. So if we go into any element, let's go in background and open the background here. We still have our main palette with the colors as before. And if we go here, I believe, let me open it a little more. Sorry. Okay, we'll see that these colors are now inside normally inside the color palette, the Bricks native color palette. So everything great. Let's go back to the color manager. Let's see what's going on. Let's make it also a little bit wider. Reopen it. And okay, there are a lot going on here. It looks like really simple, but there are a lot of things going on. The first thing we see is we have a drop down here where we can select our palettes. Right now we have only one palette, but you see when I hover on top of this drop down, I have new option on the right that are part of our color manager. The first one is you can set the palette as default. You can rename the palette. You can add a new palette. You can duplicate a palette, and you can of course delete a palette. On the left, you have a dark mode switch, and I'm going to talk about it because this is a whole new way to set your dark colors. And you have a filter. You can filter any color here. If I write primary, I will have only the primary colors, of course. And then I have the list of my colors. And if I hover on any color, you will see new option here. You can rename, duplicate, delete, and generate shades. And I will talk about it later, of course. Okay, just let's start to say that this color manager is based on CSS variables. So when you use the native bricks color, you are creating static colors. So if you enter an X color, let's say I'm here and I'm going back in the grid, and let's say I want to make my background black. This value is a static value. If you want then to change the background color of this section, you have to go to the section and change this value. It won't apply on all the website, right? But the color manager from 2.0 is based on variables. So you see, if you hover on each color here, you will see the X value, but this X value is saved inside variables. Let's just demonstrate it going to preview, and let's inspect the here, and you'll see that all our color variables here are here. Primary L1, primary L2. These are all CSS variables that contain the value that you set inside the color manager. Okay. What is the benefit of using CSS variables versus using static values? Is first of all, once you select a color and you decide in future to change it, you can just change the value inside the variable, and it will apply on everywhere where the variable is active. So you can change your colors on your website just with few clicks, and it will apply all around the website. The second benefit is you can manipulate it. You can manipulate it for changing the light and dark mode. For example, you can apply different value based on the theme, so the dark theme and the light theme. And of course, this is a more dynamic way of creating colors, so you can leverage this to create shades, to create dynamic values for your colors. So variables for colors are really, really great. I would absolutely recommend it. And this new 2.0 release is really leveraging this system. Okay, let's just open the new color on the color category on the website and see what's new, just to set the basis of what's changing. So we see the new color manager, the dynamic colors I just talked about, and there is a way to convert static values generated by bricks into variables. For this is convert vanilla bricks colors into CSS variables. Let's come back here, come back in the builder, and let's open the vanilla bricks, and we will create a new palette in bricks for now, okay? And we'll create new palettes. Okay, let's select it. Let's create any value. We'll put this one save, and we'll put another one save, and a third one green save. Great. Now let's get rid of this background color. I don't like it. Let's open the color manager, and you see our new palette is inside the drop down. Let's select it, and you see three colors, but you will not notice that they are great. You can't select them. Okay, you can click on them because they are static values. You can't change static values all around the website. These are static values, so we need to convert these values into variables. And if you see, when I hover on a color, I have an icon that says convert to a CSS variable. Let's click on it, and now color 1 has been renamed. This is the name of the variable now, and now I can change it. I can do this for all three colors. Okay, and now that I converted the colors, let's just reopen. Let's change the element just to be sure there is no issue. Background open, and if I see what's going on in this color, there is no more a next color set, but there is a raw value var color 1 that is assigned to these colors, and you see them, you still see them, nothing really changed, but now they are variables that you can change globally. So this is an easy way to convert your existing colors, if you use any colors in bricks, any static values inside variables. Okay, let's continue. Let's come back to the new palette. I just want to show you the basic function. So let's create a new palette. For example, I'm going to create add new palette, and I'm going to say 2.0 palette. I enter, and it will create a new palette on the fly. Okay, let's create some colors. I just have a field here, add a new color. Oh, sorry, before I want to rename, just to show you that I can rename, we'll say 2003, enter, and my palette is renamed correctly. For now, let's create a couple of colors. So let's say, what can I say? P1 primary. Okay, enter. We click P1. Sorry, P1 secondary. Okay, enter, and both colors have been created. They are now white as default, but I can change. Just click on the white circle, and it will open a new color picker, which is a lot more complete compared to the old color manager in Advanced Themer, because now you can change the hue and the saturation, and also the alpha, the lightness and the alpha channel. You see that we are changing the transparency. The alpha channel is the transparency. You also can switch from X color to RGB colors that also support the alpha channel. And finally, if I click on it, there is the HSL format for your colors. So if I select any color from the picker and I assign, for example, a custom alpha channel, I'm going to click outside, over on it, on the color, and you see that our HSL format color has been correctly assigned to the variable. Great, I'm going to do the same thing really quick with the secondary colors here in HSL. Great, we have now two colors, and if we go inside our native colors of bricks, we will see our two colors correctly, and if we hover on it, we can see the preview that the colors are correct. Okay, let's see. So we see the binary bricks convert, and we are going to manage our colors. Sorry. Okay, I want to create a third one just to show you one feature, third, and create a color for them, a green one like this. Okay, the first thing is you can of course rename any color, so click on rename and third two, for example. Now if we reopen the bricks color, we see on over the variable is P1 third 2, so you can rename your variables as you wish. Keep in mind that renaming your variables might be tricky if you assigned it manually, so you will have to replace the variable, because the name of the variable is what is applied to your elements. If you change the name, it won't refer to the value anymore, so you will have to refresh the name of the variable inside your element. So be careful when you rename your variables. Normally you want to set your name at the beginning of the building. If you rename at the end, you might face some issues, so be aware of that. We can also duplicate colors. It will create a copy one, and let's say we want to make 3, and we will have our third color. Let's make a pink one. Okay, you can so you can easily duplicate. You can delete with a two-step confirmation. So delete one, confirm yes, delete, confirm yes. You can easily manage the colors, and you can reorder them. So if you drag them inside the list, you can replace them as you wish. And if you open, now the structure is primary third, secondary third. If I reopen here, primary third, secondary third. So it applies on the core palette. Okay. Sorry. What I want to show you, which is really important feature of this 2.0 release, is the shade creation. So before, in the old color system of Advanced Themer, you were able to generate shades that were 6 light shades and 6 dark shades, and it was automatic. You had no control over the variation, okay, and you weren't able to set the number of colors. It was 6, and you had low controls over the shape that you were creating. Now you have complete control over the shades. And how to create the shades? Let's just over on primary, generate shade button. Let's click on it, and you'll see now a new drop down where you can select the base name. So let's say we are going to create a 10 light shades of the primary. I'm going to say L, the base name, and I'm not going to insert a number here, just the base name here. It will autocomplete, the script will autocomplete the numbers. I'm going to choose the number of shades that I want to create. I want to say 10, okay. And the color scale is this is really important to understand. So we are creating from the red one, and we want to create light version. So we are going to target a light version. We can say FFF, but we can also, it's probably better to select not a complete white color, but this one. I like this one. And you see that we have a preview. If we hover on it, we see all the HSL values. Okay, and I'm going to click Generate Shades, and automatically it will create my 10 shades, 10 lighter shades, with a continuum from the normal primary color to the lighter one. Okay, if we open the bricks native palette, we'll see our 10 shades. Great. The beauty of it is you can manually change any shade. So you can click on this one, the 5th, and we are going to set a blue one just to show you the difference. And if we open now the native one, we see the primary L5 is blue. Okay, so you have total control over your shades. Let's now create a dark shades. I'm going to over primary, generate shades. Let's make 5 this one. My destination will be darker, this, and my preview is here. Let's make that's a base name D, like dark, generate shades, and I have now 5 dark shades here. If I open my bricks palette, I have my dark shades and the light one after. Okay. I can of course reorder them as I want. Rename them if you don't like 1, 2, 3, and you have another system, you can rename them. You have complete control. The last example I want to show you is to generate transparent shades. So let's just generate shades. I'm going to write T. Let's make 6. And instead of changing the destination, the hue color, we are going to set the transparency to 0. Okay, and you'll see already on the preview that there is transparency applied. Let's click on Generate Shades, and now I have my transparent shades. So this is 0, T6 is 0, T5 is 14 as alpha channel, 28, and so on. If I open my palette here, I see my transparent shades. Okay, let's now create a more complex case. So let's reopen the color manager. I deleted the shades that we created earlier, and just to make things more clear, and we are going to create multiple steps color scales. So let's click on generate shades. You see that by default the target value is always the same that the one that you clicked on it, because you probably want to only change some value. So if you switch on HSL and you want to target only lighter, you can do this by just change the lightness value. I click outside, and you don't have to drag and drop your colors. You can just change only one channel of the color. So this is why when you open the scale generator, you always have your initial target as the value. Okay, just a little information on this. But now we are going to create a hue variation. So instead of targeting a lighter and darker version or transparency, we are going to create a scale on a completely another color. Let's choose this one. Okay, and you already see the preview that we start from the blue, our primary color, and we end up with the color that we choose, and all the shades are generated between them. And you can of course increase the number of shades. Let's make 10. 10. Click on generate shades, and you will have all the shades from the primary to this purple one. But this is not it. If we click on primary again, open the generate shades, you see we have buttons at previous color, at next color. We can create multiple scales with multiple color scales by adding color steps. So let's add let's target our purple like before, but instead of and let's make 20 just to see the shades. Okay, but we want to add a previous color before, and we will say that this one we want to be green. And you see now we start from blue, we go to the green, and then from green we go to the purple, and all the scales are the shades are generated between these colors. Now let's say we won't end with the purple one, but we want to add a final one, just next color. Let's say, I don't know, dark blue. Okay, and you see from light blue to green to purple to dark blue, all the shades are generated. Let's click on generate shades, and you see all of our values. You see that it starts from 11 and end to 30, because we already have 1 to 10 that we created before, and we don't want to have duplicated variables. So it automatically starts with the first number available, and this is 11, and it will just fill up the numbers as they are available, and all our shades are generated here. This is a really more complex scale. Just to show you the option, let's say you create 3 steps color. Let's change really quick the color just so you can see what I mean. So we have our 20 color shades. You can reorder them. You see, okay, I like these colors, but I want the shades to be at the end, the purple to be at the end. I could just drag and drop this one to the end, and the shades will be recalculated. And if I put the green on the end, the scale will be recalculated again. If I don't want the purple anymore, you see that if I hover on it, there is a little cross. I can delete this one, and it will recalculate it on the available colors. So now only blue and green. And I can, of course, add more steps as I want. There is no limitation. You can create the number of color scale you want and delete the one that you don't need anymore. Okay, so you have really complete control over the scale that you generate. Okay, this is for the scale generator. Let's go back to our initial presentation page. So I already mentioned how to manage your colors. You can rename, delete, duplicate, reorder easily with the color manager. The advanced Pickr, I already talked about it, so you can change the alpha value, the hue value, the saturation, lightness for any color that you generate with the color manager in AT. The alpha channel is supported, so you can now create transparent shades. You weren't able to do that with the previous advanced themer color system. The shade generator, we just talked about it. The advanced scale generator, we just talked about it. But now let's go to the no-code dark mode. There was a dark mode there was a way in the previous advanced themer to create a dark mode, but it was a bit clunky, I would say. A lot of back and forth between the theme settings, the color palette, custom post type. It wasn't easy to set your dark mode. Now things are really easy. Just to avoid confusion, let's create a new palette and let's call it my palette. Okay. I'm going to assign a background color. I will call it background color, and it is white. It's okay. I can change it like this. Great. And I'm going to assign this I'm going to rename not background color. I don't like this. I will do body background. It's more accurate. Great. Let's go in the theme styles. I don't think I created one. I will create really quick. New theme. New. Okay. Create. And let's go in general, I believe. Site background. Okay, and I'm going to assign my body background. Okay, and you see now this wasn't possible in the previous release. That now we can set the variables on the background color of the website, because the variables are now on the HTML tag and not on the body tag anymore. So it works as it should. And if I open my color palette, I can change from here. I can change the color of the background just by changing the value of my variable. Okay? Let's keep it from a light color now. And now I want to set the dark mode, right? So I'm going to click on switch to dark mode. And you see already the background change, because when I create a color, let's make text here. Okay, you see that the default value is white on light mode and black, complete black on dark mode. This is the default value. Now I can, let's delete this test value. Now I can, if I switch on dark mode, I can now choose the color that I want on my dark mode just by dragging the color or assigning colors manually here in the fields on the bottom. But it works also on drag and drop. So let's say I want this value to be dark like this on dark mode. It will be assigned, and if I come back to the light one, it will be the previous light color that I want. Let's now create the same for the header. Let's create an header color. Let's assign here a dark value. Let's say this one. And let's assign this color to this element. So let's go here, typography, my palette, header color. Okay. Of course, now you can change the color of the text, and all the header that has this variable will change. But let's just make it dark right now. Switch color, you see we don't see it anymore because the default value is black, but now let's make it lighter, right? And now we have a nice effect with the header. Just for the purpose of the example, let's make a body, no sorry, let's make a P color, okay? And we assign also this one. Okay, I'm going to the P, the paragraph, typography, color. Let's assign our paragraph color. And let's make the same change on the dark mode. The P color, we can set it like this. I think it looks okay. And now our dark mode is really looking great, and it was a couple of clicks, and this is totally reusable. So now if you create a new section, you just have to set the colors just as we did before, a paragraph color for the paragraph, another color for your headers, and it's done, and dark mode is done. Okay. So this is really a big improvement compared to the one in the previous release of Advanced Themer. Okay, let's go back to our page here. We already show that we can customize any shade and dark color variant, as I showed you now. The last thing I want to show you is that the dark mode is also supported for ACSS variables. So if you are an ACSS user, this might be useful for you. Let's go back, in the plugins, and let's activate automatic CSS. Okay, I'm going to save my page. To do okay, and refresh my page. Okay, now if I go back to the section, I should be able to see all my my class from ACSS, and if I open my color manager, for some reason the colors haven't been let me check. Oh, maybe I need to save in the ACSS settings, I guess. Okay, let's see, palette. Okay, let's save change for now. Let's see if it needs these to generate the palettes. Sample page. Let's refresh. I believe you need to save the settings in ACSS to generate the color palette. Let's open the color manager. Oh no, the palette from ACSS are not showing. That's interesting. Let's go here. And the palettes here are not generated. So maybe I'm missing something. Interesting. Let's try to deactivate and activate again. Let's see if it changed anything. Okay. Refresh. Are they showing? Okay. Now we activate, deactivate, and then for some reason the ACSS palettes are showing again. We see that we have our global and all the palettes from ACSS. You see, if I hover on these values, there is a disable sign. I can't change the values from ACSS on light mode because all the values from ACSS are managed from here, from the palette. Okay, and I don't want to mess with your settings in Advanced CSS. But the interesting thing is you can change the dark mode value, because as far as I know, ACSS doesn't support a native way to the dark mode, but with the new color manager you can do this. So let's just assign this section a color from ACSS. So background, and let's choose into global, and let's make it white, for example. Okay, let's go back to the color manager. We have our color white, but if I select my dark mode, you see that all is great because we didn't change any value from here. So if it's great, it means that there is no dark mode value assigned to this variable. But if I click on white and choose my custom colors, let's say this white becomes black or darker, let's say on dark mode, and now I have my switch, and it works perfectly with ACSS values as well. Okay, I believe I covered everything from the new color manager. Oh yeah, I just want to make a few points here. So now there was already this feature synced with Gutenberg default palette, but it was only working with the colors generated inside the custom post type. Now instead, all your bricks colors, all the palettes that are inside bricks, so all these color here will be automatically synced inside Gutenberg. So this is a nice improvement. The second thing, you see that we still have our toggles as an element. So if we go here, we made dark mode. Oh, sorry, maybe here. Or maybe I didn't added it to the sorry, okay, I probably have to go in theme settings, builder elements, enable my element. But you see, we have only dark mode toggle and dark mode button. We add more elements before. I'm thinking about the theme swatch and the color swatch. But they were working with static shades, so the 6 light and dark shades. But now that we can customize all the number of shades and custom colors for each shade, it makes no sense to keep it because there is no way to calculate the way we were doing before. So the previous elements that I never really shared information on this, because to be honest, these were one of the first things that I worked on when I built Advanced Themer, and I mean, I won't say it was a game, but yeah, it was probably not as useful for the community as the new color manager is right now. So I decided to retire them because I don't see any point to keep them. It would be impossible to apply with the new color manager, and I just decided to retire the old one. Okay, and this is about it, I believe. Okay guys, now it's time to see the version 2 of the class manager. So there are new addition to the previous class manager introduced in the previous release, and let's just open the class manager, and you see on the left we already have some new things going on here. There are categories, and we have also a new button here, bulk actions. And on the right we have a new field, category, and new buttons here for the CSS. So let's start with the category. Now you have a new way to categorize your classes and make things well organized. I just created these classes just for the purpose of the example, but let's just click on orange, and let's assign a category to this class just by writing color, for example, and just click enter. And you see on the left we have now a category color. If I click on it, you see that the class orange is correctly applied to the category. Okay, this is one way to assign a category to a class. You can also drag and drop. So let's take our blue color here, drag it to the color, and the category is correctly assigned to the color category. Sorry, the class is correctly assigned. I will do the same thing for red, and we have correctly our blue color here. Great. What I want to do is to create a category from here. Let's create grid. Okay, and I'm going to go in all and assign this category to grids, and all my grid classes are assigned to the grid category. It's just a way to have nice nice management for the classes. For example, I will show you in a moment a way to group, to assign classes with the bulk actions, so not manually dragging and dropping each one. But yeah, it's a nice way to keep everything in control. When you have a lot of classes and you are looking for a way to organize them and access them quickly, this is a good way to do this. Not sure why I have this blue. I inserted incorrectly. Okay, what I want to show you now is the new option for generate CSS with AI. We have a new option that you see only if the class is unlocked. So if I click on locked, you see that you can't change the CSS anymore, and you don't have the options on the top. But if you unlock it and click on generate CSS with AI, you will have a new field. This is your prompt, and you can actually write what you want to create. So actually, I'm not sure right now if I activated my API, Open API license, yeah, my Open API on this installation, so I'm not sure it would work. But if you write something like create an animation, a reveal animation, yeah, reveal image from opacity 0 to 1, it will, and click enter, it will create the CSS for you. Not going to review because I'm pretty sure I didn't install the API on this installation, but believe me, it should work. Okay. And the other one, the other button is insert root. So if you click on it, you will automatically have the root here, and if you compile correct, it will be correctly assigned on the generated CSS here, correct to the class orange. And you can, of course, like before, you can apply them on different breakpoints. This is work like before. But the main the main addition of this release is certainly the bulk action. Let's just click on it, and you see a new panel here where you can apply changes on multiple classes. You can rename multiple classes, duplicate, group, or delete classes in bulk. Let's just review all four for now. Rename. So you see we have the preview screen on the left, and right now all the classes have these new suffix added to the class, because all these classes already exist. So if we now rename them just to make sure they are not duplicated, they have a new suffix added to the class. But we don't want them, we want to rename them, okay? And we are going to rename the hero classes, and we don't want them to be hero anymore, but we want them to be feature, for example. So the first thing to do is to select, I want to rename all the class that contain the following string. So let's filter our classes to contain hero. And you see the preview is correctly updated. We are now targeting the hero classes. But let's say we don't want to change the button. Okay, we want to keep the button like it is before. So let's exclude the class that contains the following string. We are excluding button, and button is not showing anymore in our list here. We can also decide to rename only the classes that are assigned to a specific group. In this case, we have color and grid, but for now, let's just keep it all, just to target all the classes here. We want to replace the following string inside the class name, so we want to replace hero with this new string. We want to replace hero with feature. Okay, let's just write feature, and you see the result here. The feature, now there is no more the new suffix, because these classes don't exist already in your global classes, so they are unique. And the hero string has been replaced with feature. Now you can also add a prefix. You say, okay, we want to add a unique prefix. Let's say my prefix. Okay, and it's added to the start, the beginning of the class. And we can also add a suffix. I don't know, let's say my suffix. And this will be added at the end of the class. If now I click rename, class is correctly renamed. Let's go back to overview, and we see that our hero classes have been replaced, excluding except the button that we didn't target in our rename, but all the other classes are correctly renamed like we wanted. Okay, and now there is no classes anymore, because if we're targeting hero, we have no classes hero anymore. So we will have to delete this one. Okay, this is for rename. Let's go to duplicate. So this is a quick way to duplicate your classes. For example, if you're using a design set and you are importing classes from the design set, but you want to rename them and to duplicate them and reassign them to the elements, the original elements, but you don't want to mess with the existing classes, you want to create your own, there is an easy way to do so. So let's say we want to target the feature classes. Sorry. We will write, we want to target the feature. And the list is here. You see that by default, it will duplicate the class and add new, like the rename one, because the previous one already exists. So the duplicated one will have a new tag by default. You can also exclude and exclude a certain string, like just like we did before with the rename, and target classes from specific groups. For now, let's just ignore this. But we can replace the following string inside the duplicated class. We don't want them to be featured. We will say that we target feature, but we want to replace the old class with my class. Okay, so the duplicated class won't be feature anymore, but will be my class. And you can also add a prefix like we did before. Sorry for the confusion of the created class, but you just understand what I do. And in the duplicated class, you have three options. You can assign the duplicated classes to the same element on this post. So that means that the element where my feature classes are added, okay, will have also the duplicated class on it. We will add the duplicated class to the element. You can decide yes or no. If you decide to don't do this, the classes will be created but won't be assigned to any element on your page. You have the second option, which is remove the old classes from all the elements on the posts. So that means that since you want to duplicate the class and want to manage the new class, assign your own styles and don't mess with the original one, you maybe don't want to have this class assigned to the elements anymore, but you want to have the new class assigned anymore. In this case, you choose yes, I want to remove the old classes from the elements of this post. And the third option is delete the old class from the global classes list. So this is a radical choice. That means that once they are duplicated, and whether they are assigned to an element or not, the old class will be completely removed from the list. So you won't be able to select and change them anymore, which in certain cases can be really useful because you you don't want to have them on the site anymore, but want to focus on the duplicated classes. But of course, you won't be able to assign it anymore. They won't exist anymore. These are the options. I won't remove because I don't think they are applied anywhere here. And I just will duplicate them like this. If I come back to overview, I will filter my class, and I will have all the duplicated classes in my list. And in my case, I didn't delete the previous one, so I still have the feature class in the list. Okay, let's come back to duplicate. Let's say group. Let's group all my feature classes, and let's assign. So we are targeting the feature classes. We are not excluding any classes, but we will add them to a group. Let's say feature. Click on group classes, and you will see that now we have a new category feature, and let's remove the filter. My 4 feature classes are now in the group feature. Okay. And last one we can delete too. Let's also target our feature classes. We won't exclude anything, but you can do this. And you have 2 options here. You can remove the targeted classes from all the elements on this post. So we will unselect this class on all the elements, but the class will still exist in the global class list. Okay, so this is a way to quickly unassign a class globally on your page. Okay, and the second one, the more radical choice, is delete the targeted classes, this one, from the global list. Let's do this. Delete classes. And let's go back to the overview. We don't have classes in our feature category anymore. So we can also delete the category at this point. And in my list, I don't have feature classes anymore. These are basically, and of course, nothing is featured here because there is no feature classes anymore. Okay, this is a quick overview of the new bulk actions available for classes. And I believe I forgot to mention that if you decide to delete a category, let's say color, we have 3 colors assigned here. If I decide to remove the category, you see that we are removing the category. We are not removing the classes assigned to the category. So if now we click to orange, we see that orange has no, still exists, but has no color category anymore. So you don't have the risk to mess with your classes. Actually, when you are deleting a category, you are just deleting the category, not the classes assigned to it. And since we implemented the category, we also implemented in other function of AT. So if I click on any element and I want to export the style to a class, you see that now we have 2 fields. We can type your class name. So my class name will be this is a test, and I want to assign it to the group. Type the class group here. It's an optional field, and I will say group tests. Okay, if I save it, go to my class manager, we have a new group test where my category has been correctly assigned. This works also for the class converter, which, by the way, have a new look and a couple new features that I'm going to review right now. Let's just right-click and open the class converter. And you see that things have changed slightly. So now, to generate the converter and the classes, you just have to specify the base name. Let's say, for example, hero. Since we deleted the previous one, we will use hero. And you will define a delimiter, which is the separation from the base name and the context of the class. So in this case, container, block, image, etc. You see that we have a new preview window, so you exactly see which classes are going to be added to your elements. And as you can see, you can't change anymore. You can decide whether you want to target the parent, the children, or both, because I think this created confusion, and in a lot of cases you want to assign classes to an entire component. And the way it works is the parent get the base name as a class. So in this case we set hero. Hero will be added to the section that we click on it. And then all the children will have the delimiter added with the context. So you don't have to mess anymore, create your class on your parent, then target children. It's all automatically when you click on the class converter, you will have this schema. You can assign all these classes generated to a specific group, let's say hero in this case. And like before, you can decide whether you want to copy the ID style to the generated classes. And once done, if you want to erase the ID styles on the elements. In this case, I will say that I want to copy the styles. Yes, I want to erase the ID style. Let's say no for now. Let's just create classes. And you see that we have correctly created 7 classes. My hero is correctly assigned to the section. And all the other elements have correctly the correct class assigned. Let's open the class manager. We see now that we have a new section hero with all our classes hero. And that should work also with the component class manager. And we see that the classes here, hero, are correctly assigned to the hero category. Okay, I just want to mention that it also populates automatically from your label. So, for example, if we now, let's say I want to create a new section with one block and a heading. Let's put it here. I want to modify the label here, and I will say testimonial. Okay, enter. By the way, just parenthesis. Did you know that you can easily assign a custom label from the structure panel just with the tab, and you can click enter, and then you will be able to write directly on the keyboard without clicking on each item. So if I say container, tab, enter, block, tab, enter, heading, boom. Everything is done on the keyboard, and I didn't have to click with the mouse. But now let's just run the class manager from the testimonial section, class converter, and you see that it automatically populates the base name from the label of your parent. And they all inherit the testimonial base name to create all your classes. Okay. This is a new improvement from 2.0. Let's go back to the changelog from 2.0 because I want to show you a couple of new things. So we talked about the group your classes by category, generate CSS with AI, and bulk action on classes. I want to show you a couple new improvements, the new CSS controls. Let's go back to the theme settings, and I believe it's in the builder tweaks, elements, and if you go to the bottom, you'll see new additions. We will toggle them all and with them one by one. A new filter transition tab, a new class ID tab. I will show you in a moment. I will show you now. Let's just save and I will show you in the builder. Okay, let's open the builder and refresh. Did I inserted everything? Yeah. So now if you click on an element and disable the style, sorry, go to the style, we'll see two new tabs in here. The filter transition, where we have our filters, and the classes -id, where we only have CSS classes and CSS ID. Before, these settings were inside the CSS, but now the CSS is only the CSS code. Don't mess with other settings. CSS is just CSS. And if you want to add a class or an ID, it has a separate tab for that. By the way, there are also the shortcut for them. We just have to enable them. Sorry. Let's go here. We see that we have in our tabbed shortcuts, we can activate filters and classes, save item, save settings. Let's go here. Let's refresh. And let's go there, and we see that we have our filter transit icon and a classes ID icon. And if I click on it, I quickly open the dedicated tabs. You see that in filter tabs, we have a new field that doesn't exist in vanilla bricks, which is a backdrop filter, and you can insert your custom backdrop filter because we just added it as a custom new control, and it is the last one, new backdrop filter controls. If you disable it, you won't have access to this control anymore. By the way, you may wonder why these ones are in orange. So the orange items, it's written here on the top. The orange settings require 80 to be installed in order to work correctly. It's not safe to enable them if you plan to disable Advanced Themer once you finished building this site. So you might need to make a choice here. If you are using Advanced Themer only for the builder tweaks and you don't intend to keep Advanced Themer installed after you build the site, you may not want to enable these features because they won't work anymore and the generated CSS won't work anymore. By the way, this is not my recommendation. You should not disable Advanced Themer because Advanced Themer is not think to be a temporary plugin. It's a companion. It's your friend, and you don't want to to replace your friend or delete your friend once it's deleted, right? Because I'm going to keep increasing the features of Advanced Themer, and they are not all temporary features. Like the new color manager is just part of your build now, because if you disable them, you won't have variables anymore. And this is a new example. I'm going to add new CSS properties. I'm going to use in feature release, we are going to implement ACSS and if you are going to disable the plugin, it may not work anymore. So the idea is not to disable Advanced Themer once you are done with the building. You can do so, and there is an advertisement to say, okay, don't use this if you plan to do so, but this is not the recommended use of Advanced Themer. Okay, let's just review the new controls that have been added. The background clip. If we go in the background there, on the bottom you will see background clip, and you can choose from border box, content box, padding box, text. The new white space control, content visibility, and content intrinsic size. Let's see directly what they are. They are in layout. And if you go in MISC, you will see visibility, which is visibility hidden or visible. But now we have the new CSS property content visibility. If you don't know about it, I would encourage you to go and see online what it does, which is pretty great for speed optimization of your pages. It's new, it's not supported on all the browsers, but even on unsupported browsers, it doesn't mess with your actual CSS. It's just a bonus for the browsers that support this function. And the same is for contain intrinsic size, which is a property to define the size that should be visible or not. And we have also the white space that we just enabled, which is really important if you want to, for example, set no wrap. And in this case, for example, buttons or other text won't wrap if you set white space and keep on one line only. Really useful. We also have, we can see on the bottom that we have the break before, break inside, break after. This is really useful if you are going to use the also new option, which is the column option. And if I go here in display and set block, we'll see now new properties that are related to column. And if I set column count and I set to 2, you will see that now we have 2 columns, even if it's not a flex container, it's a block, but it's using the column property, and you can say 3 and 4 and change everything you want. You can change the column gap, of course, and say 4 It's like the gap, it's like the gap for the flex or the grid, the property. The column fill, which can be auto, balance, or balance all. The column width, which are all properties oriented to column. If you don't know about it, I really encourage you to check them out. So now we have a full integration of the column. And by the way, there were a lot of requests in the group about a masonry layout for posts or cards or anything. This is the CSS, the actual CSS way to create a masonry-like layout. And of course, it's a fake way to create masonry. So with JavaScript, we are keeping the correct order of each items, but the visual effect of columns is actually a masonry. And in order to avoid breaking things, so for example, if I set column count to 4 maybe, you see that my text here is breaking inside. But if I go, maybe on the container, I'm not sure it will work. Let's see. If I set here and say layouts here, break inside, and we'll say avoid. Okay, this works. So now we just define that these basic texts shouldn't be inside it and should be kept as a block. And it worked as expected. Really quick, I want to show you new transform properties too. So the basic transform option of bricks is, I believe, the transform and maybe the transform origin. But now we can define the transform style, which can be set as preserve 3D, really useful for certain CSS effects. You can change the transform box, the perspective origin, and also the backface visibility, which can be set as visible or hidden. All advanced properties for transforming by CSS your elements. And quick addition is that now overflow is not an open field anymore. It's a drop down, and you can select the value that you want to insert here. All these new changes can be enabled and disabled from this list. Set the overview control as a drop down, the background clip, we saw it, white space, we saw it, the content visibility, we saw it, column count controls, we saw it, breadth, transform, and backdrop filter. Everything has been covered from here. Okay, the last really little improvement that has been asked from the community is, let's go in the structure panel. And now we have a new general trick here. Expand all children elements from the structure panel. If we enable this, save settings, and refresh. Now, if I hover on it, you'll see an icon on the right. Okay, let's just set it like this. Oh no, sorry, let's just, there is an option from, okay, collapse all. I will collapse all. If I click on the icon here, it will expand all the children, but only for this section. So let's just duplicate. Can I duplicate? Yeah, I can duplicate from here. You see that my other section here is still, let's expand all and collapse all again, just to show you. The first one, I can expand just this section, and it won't affect the other one here that will keep being collapsed, but only the targeted one. And it works for any level. So if I want to toggle it again, I want to open only this block, no, only this one, for example, I can expand, and it will expand all my elements only for this element. By the way, if you click again, it will just expand. It won't collapse this one, because for collapsing you already have these rows, and I don't see any advantages to collapse components. If you want things collapsed, you can use the general collapse option, and if you want to expand a component only, you have this new builder trick here. Okay, this video is probably the longer one that I ever made for advanced themers, so I'm going to stop here. And thank you for the patience to watch it until the end. Like always, please share your suggestion. Tell me in the comment if you like these improvements, and I hope to be able to get as much feedback as possible in these next days, and be able to release the definitive version, the public one, probably in, around next week. So guys, stay tuned and see you for the next one. Bye bye.